the Romanov Empire and the dynasty of Russia. He must know about the Shah of Iran. He must know about the Bourbon of France. And he must know about Robert Mugabe. And Robert Mugabe, for 37 years, his own people waged war against him. And I'm telling Keith Rowley today, you would not stay 37 years. Your time is near. So ladies and gentlemen, come out Sunday and vote for Kamla Prasad-Bissessar.
Thank you very much, MP. I think you hit the nail on the head there. People of Trinidad and Tobago are tired for what Keith Rowley and the wicked PNM has presented the people as a government. We know that's not the truth. We know what true leadership looks like, and we know we have a true leader in the United National Congress. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, we will come out in our numbers and support our political leader. We know what representation is. And the next speaker, the Honorable Minister, showed Trinidad and Tobago what true vision was by investing in the future of Trinidad and Tobago, that is the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. The Honorable Member coined the phrase, from cutting cane to flying plane. Policy after policy invested in the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. I bring to you Karim.
Thank you very much. Our very distinguished chairperson, Denicia. Our beloved political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, who is probably just strolling down the road from where she lives to victory on Sunday, when she'll be returned as our political leader again, and some of the very many colleagues on the platform here. My parliamentary colleagues, chairmen, councillors, activists, members of the media, brothers and sisters. My duties are very simple one here this evening, and to indicate publicly the support of the Chaguanas East constituency for the star team and the brightest star, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, that will lead a very victorious team of our national executive members come Sunday. I want to spend a few minutes in focusing on Mrs. Bissessar's leadership and her contribution to tertiary education, which she gave me the responsibility for, and for which I am indeed very grateful. Many of you will recall that in the old days, if a child couldn't get into school, you blame the parents. Nowadays, if a child can't get into school, you have to blame the government. Because it is the government's duty and responsibility to ensure that every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago has access, has opportunity to be able to realize their dreams, their careers, for a good education, for a good job, and for a better quality of life. My dear brothers and sisters, when we look at education, and particularly tertiary education, we see that education, the education challenge, is a demographic opportunity. That is, all that big word mean is the people in different places in the country. And I'll tell you about a demographic opportunity that came right here to DEBE through Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar's vision. But I want to also tell you, and based on what my colleagues, the two colleagues who have spoken just now, were saying, that education, the challenge of education, is also a national security obligation. Because if you cannot educate our people, our boys and girls, our men and women, what you see happen yesterday will continue to repeat itself and could become a national disaster. So I ask you to take note. I want to say as well that under Mrs. Bissessar's leadership, and I had the pleasure to be responsible for this, when we came into government in 2010, if you check the People's Partnership Manifesto, we gave a commitment to the people that we will move the participation rate in the tertiary sector from 42% in 2010 to 60% by 2015. Well, the good news is that by 2015 and by May 2015, we had exceeded that amount to 65.24%. And as a matter of fact, if you added the vocational sector, we would have gone past 70%. My dear brothers and sisters, I want to ask you to join with me in recognizing, in congratulating, in ensuring that we reward with a lusty round of applause the vision of Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar to place for the first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago the University of the West Indies, Penal DEBE campus right here in DEBE. I want to tell you that among the first cabinet notes that came to us, she said, Faz, I want a UE campus in South. This UE campus that you see here, I want to tell you, it came after 50 years of the University of the West Indies, housed in St. Augustine, but it started after 1 year of the People's Partnership, led by Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, to start construction here of this legacy project. I think it is important for you to understand what it means for the University of the West Indies to be here. Let me say that we decided that this will be a lower faculty. And when Mrs. Bissessar gave that instruction, she knew very well that there were thousands of young persons who wanted to become lawyers but could not have afforded to pay the rent or pay transportation or had any family members in St. Augustine in the north. But more importantly, when you would have done your first LLB degree, if you had to have your professional qualification and you did it externally through a university in London, you would have had to pay $300,000 to go to England to get your professional qualification. It was on that basis that we decided that there will be no discrimination in the People's Partnership. And Mrs. Bissessar ensured that when we talk about demographic opportunity, that every creed and race and every geographic space in this country will have an opportunity for tertiary education. And therefore, let me just give you some of the facts that you all may not know. The phase 1 of this university campus right here, that facility is located on 142 acres of land. And as I'm getting the message that I should complete, I just want to give you a few facts. I will stop just 1 minute. You need to know that that facility was constructed at a value of 520 million. And let me also tell you, the law faculty here on this facility will house 450 full-time students, a moot court, a library, an academic building with Roy Tech, 550 full-time students with Roy Tech, halls of residence for 100 students, students' union building with food service, recreational facilities, pavilions, swimming pool, playgrounds, hard courts, all of these right here at your doorsteps, that we will ensure that this place, DEBE Penal, will not only be a place for the university and for the people, it will be a place of empowerment and education. It will be the education capital of South Trinidad. Congratulations, and I thank you.
Put your hands together one more time for a man who revolutionized the tertiary education system in Trinidad and Tobago, MP Fazal Karim. A couple of the MPs touched on what happened in the BTOM yesterday. Remember when the Minister of Finance said, I raised it by 15%, and they ain't riot yet. He was talking to you all, you know. But the old time saying goes, is your own louse does bite you. While he was looking for the people in South Trinidad to be rioting, they forgot their own. So yesterday what happened came of their own doing. My brothers and sisters, we are at a tipping point and we are at a breaking point in our country. And come Sunday, the 26th of November, we need to use our votes in the UNC's internal election to send a message to the PNM that we are fed up. And through our votes on Sunday, we will riot and send a message, we're ready to take government now. There's a young lady who sits in Parliament, and not even motherhood could have kept her down and kept her quiet. I saw her driving this evening and my heart welled with happiness and pride because she's always a powerful speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and give a beautiful UNC welcome to the Member of Parliament for Couva North, Mrs. Ramona Ramdial.
Thank you very much. Good night, UNC family. The opposition leader and soon to be re-elected political leader of the United National Congress, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, my parliamentary colleagues, all our local government practitioners, members of the media, and you, our loyal UNC members and supporters. Give yourselves a warm round of applause, please. It gives me great pleasure to be here tonight at this rally to endorse the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar as our next political leader of the United National Congress. Let me say, as a woman, I am very proud of Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, who broke the glass ceiling here in Trinidad and Tobago in 2010 when she became the first female Prime Minister of our country. As you know, her rise to political leader and Prime Minister was no easy feat. She persevered and stayed the course for many moons and served our great party till the time was right to ascend. For all girls and women, she gave hope and inspiration and showed that even in our politics, which is still male-dominated, it was possible for a woman to be a leader and to hold one of the highest offices in the land. And for that, she deserves a warm round of applause. As a young professional woman, I was part of the STAR team in 2010, and you have seen that the symbol has not changed since then. And I remembered her critics saying some of the most, distasteful things about her. But as we see today, 7 years after, Kamla still remains popular, relevant, and the best choice to take on Keith Rowley and the PNM in 2020. And how many of you listened to the Prime Minister's address to the nation today? How many of you? Well, I would say, well, I'm not exactly. I heard someone say, take off the TV. I would say, don't waste your time. I mean, I was listening to him and I said, wait for it. It is coming. Hold on. Wait for it. And true to form, Dr. Keith Rowley found somewhere in between his speech to blame the former government and to blame Kamla for what took place down in the Beatum yesterday. And I think that is a very poor leader. When you compare the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar to Dr. Keith Rowley, I will tell you that surely in 2020, they are going to demit office and go back where they come from. I have always maintained, ladies and gentlemen, that Kamla Prasad-Bissessar is a transformational leader. She leads by example, she possesses courage, confidence, and the willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good. So on Sunday, November the 26th, get up early, put cooking on a hold, go to your relevant polling stations and cast your vote for the STAR team and the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar so that we can move forward and move the party forward to beating the PNM in 2020. Let us give her an overwhelming mandate that she deserves. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MP Ramdial, for that sterling contribution this evening. Our next speaker, I bring to you a gentleman who is seemingly quiet, but once you get to know him, realize that he has a genuine passion for service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I bring to you none other than our MP for the constituency of Faizabad, Dr. Lakram Bodo.
Thank you very much, our dynamic chairperson, Denisia. my parliamentary colleagues, our young senators here, the candidates on the stage, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, the UNC family. We are indeed in very troubled times here. My colleagues have mentioned the collapse that is taking place in national security, the lack of opportunities in education, but we also have a very serious challenge in terms of what is happening in the health sector. Of course, my main purpose here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is to bring the support of the executive and the UNC membership in Faizabad for the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, the political leader and Member of Parliament for Sipare, who I'm sure is on the way here today. And that support is overwhelming, and undoubtedly, I see Rodney said that he intends to bring greater membership. We will take up that challenge, Rodney, in Faizabad. And I want to recognize the UNC members who are here from Faizabad. But ladies and gentlemen, the challenge we are facing, you know, it's a whole state of collapse, and I hear my colleagues talking about 2020, but I'm not sure that the election is going to come in 2020. I suspect it's going to come earlier. You know, there was a time not long ago when you could have gone to the hospital and you could have gotten your drugs. You could have gotten proper treatment. You had a short waiting time for surgery. Now that is a thing of the past. Many of you, my brothers and sisters, have experienced and continue to experience a tremendous hardship in accessing proper health care. I just want to point out to you, you see, sometimes our memories are very short, and it is very difficult, rather easy sometimes to forget what was given. And I have had the privilege and the opportunity to participate in the healthcare development of this country as the chairman of the Southwest Regional Health Authority under the guidance and leadership of the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar when she was the Prime Minister between 2010 and 2015. And I'll tell you some of the achievements which you may have forgotten. And these are no mean achievements. And I want to state that one of the first things we did at the Southwest was to ensure that the nearby Sipare District Health Facility, which is now open 24/7, you may not have realized, but that was not the case until 2011. I also want to mention, and you know, this is a project that we keep forgetting, the San Fernando Teaching Hospital. And I want to say to you that it took the vision and courage, and is a visionary leader who would have gone there, looked at an unfinished building, a car park, that would have been transformed into an office building, or was earmarked for an office building under the PNM regime. And she had the vision and the courage and said, you know, she looked at the old San Fernando Hospital and said, listen, we can't turn this into an office building while patients are suffering. There are so many people waiting, you know. In those days, people used to be sleeping on the corridor. And she took that step, and in a matter of 2 years, that project was transformed into the San Fernando Teaching Hospital. And I want you to recognize on this stage here the candidate for deputy political leader who was able to effect that transformation as the chairman of the UDCOT, our sister Jillian John. Let's give her a round of applause. And of course, that vision extended further to the Children's Hospital in Couva, which is yet to be opened. I'll say no more about that. I mean, you all know, you understand, you see the vision that's coming there. There was also something called the Extended Patient Program that many of you, or some of you would have benefited from, some of your families and friends, where there was a rule that if you had to wait for more than 3 months in any public health facility for a blood test, for an investigation, that would be paid for by the state. That is no longer, that program, I understand, has been suspended. And of course, there was a very visionary initiative of extending the health centers to be opened, the extended hours now to 8, 9 o'clock on the weekends. And I understand that some of that has been curtailed. And of course, you also know the problems that you face with the drugs and so on. I've also had the privilege and the opportunity as a new member of parliament to witness the performance of the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar as a leader of the opposition in the parliament, and to see her vision, her courage, and her strength as she continues to defend you, your people, the people in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. So ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt, and I stand here to endorse who I think is fitting and the best person to be the next political leader of the United National Congress, but more than that, to go forward and take this country back from this this incompetent PNM government. And I say that because this leader is a caring, compassionate, courageous leader with the capacity and the capability to transform this country. So ladies and gentlemen, as I get my cue, I want to encourage you again to come out on Sunday. All of this talk translates into naught. I know some of you think that the leader has already won the battle, but I think it's very important that we send a signal, not only to the UNC membership, but to the PNM, that Kamla Prasad-Bissessar is willing, able, and ready to become the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for MP for Faizabad, Dr. Lakram Bodo. During her short presentation, MP Ramdial said that Dr. Rowley is a poor leader. Poor would indicate that he has a little bit of leadership skills. I would think that he's a bankrupt leader. He has nothing to contribute to the office of Prime Minister whatsoever. And come Sunday the 26th, we need to tell Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley his time has come to go. We want no more Garvey in Trinidad. We want no more Keith in Trinidad either. Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, they used to call his seat a marginal seat, but no more. He used to run cable and internet long time, but now what he's doing, he's running the PNM out of Mayaro. Ladies and gentlemen, a dynamic, hard-working member of parliament, please put your hands together for the MP for Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Pare.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My honorable political leader, I keep hearing saying the next, but there is only one, as far as I am concerned, leader of the opposition, Ms. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, my parliamentary colleagues, senators, councillors, aldermen, chairmen, members of the UNC constituency executives throughout Trinidad and Tobago, members of the public, members of the electronic media, loyal and dedicated soldiers of the United National Congress. I greet you from the constituency of Mayaro, and I want to give you the assurance that come Sunday, 26th of November, 2017, without a shadow of a doubt, I say to you with extreme confidence that the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar will be returned as the political leader and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. My brothers and sisters, look at what this country has come to in a mere 2 years. Under this Keith Rowley-led government, we have seen an unprecedented rise in unemployment, escalating crime, inefficiencies in the health sector, as explained by Dr. Bodo, poor infrastructure. Look at the flooding, the massive flooding that we have had to entertain as members of parliament over the last couple of months. High food prices, a total destruction in the education system, reduction in the provision of social services, mass corruption in the energy sector, a pure lack of vision by a visionless leader, drastic increases in every single commodity in Trinidad and Tobago. And while all this is happening, as our chairman said earlier, the Minister of Finance grins and says, well, all you're right yet, I'll go give you some more. But my brothers and sisters, the time is coming where the people of this country will say no more. There is no doubt that where there is extreme frustration growing in Trinidad and Tobago amongst our people, when thousands of our young graduates cannot find jobs, government that is not providing opportunities for tertiary level students on a daily basis, just like my fellow colleagues, our filing cabinets and desks are being overstocked with resumes and CVs from people looking for jobs. Clearly, this is a government that doesn't care. This is a government without a heart. This is a government without a plan. And this is a government without a purpose, my brothers and sisters. I stand here tonight on this platform to say to you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. Better days are coming. The time is near, my brothers and sisters. The radiance of the sunlight will shine upon us once again, and Kamla Prasad-Bissessar will return to power as your Prime Minister, my Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar is a mother. She has demonstrated care and love for children. She is a woman that has demonstrated her compassion for mothers and sisters in our society. A woman who has never seen the issue of race, class, religion, gender. A woman who has served us well, whose mantra has always been, serve the people, serve the people, serve the people. Honorable political leader, again I want to give you the guarantee that the constituency of Mayaro, our 6 electoral districts, Beach Charuma, Ecclesville, Rio Claro North, Rio Claro South, Kokal Mafikin, and Guayaguayari, under our hard-working executive, our chairman of the corporation, councillors and aldermen, our activists in the Mayaro constituency will return you and Team Star to governance at the head of our United National Congress and slowly and surely back into government. Brothers and sisters, I want to tell you that while we have this impetus in this election on Sunday, let us dust our yellow shirts and jerseys out. The general election is near. Many feel it in the air. Let us put our arms and legs in motion. Get out onto the streets. Get your friends and family. Get the message going. Let's give the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar a mandate on Sunday with 100,000 votes and send a message to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that we are ready to take back government. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, MP. I think that speech alone shows us why Mayaro is no longer considered a marginal seat. Let's welcome our candidate for Deputy Political Leader and Research Officer, UNC family. As MP rightly said, what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago now is almost like a nightmare. It's a bad dream. But what happens when you have a bad dream? We wake up. And the people of Trinidad and Tobago are waking up. And when you wake up, it's morning time. What is happening in the morning? The sun rises. The sun will rise in the next general election. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you a speaker who a lot of people say have pepper mouth. I like to call him the champion of the people. I bring to you our vibrant, young, energetic MP for Princestown, Mr. Barry Padarat.
Brothers and sisters of the United National Congress, you know that our political leader lives a stone throw away from here. And I'm told that she's preparing to arrive very shortly. But I want you to signal by your thunderous applause, your loud voices, your horns, your whistles, to indicate to her that the UNC is ready for victory on the 26th of November. My brothers and sisters, for the very first time in our party, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, a strong, independent, competent, brave, bright woman, leader, will be supported by the powerhouse, another female deputy political leader in the person of Jerlene John. And I tell you here tonight that the PNM is quaking in their boots, because they know that the powerhouse of Jerlene John is ready for them, together with Khadija Amin, on the corridors of Trinidad and Tobago. My parliamentary colleagues, senators, councillors, brothers and sisters of our great party, tonight I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the members of the UNC. You see, it was in 2010, January 2010, when Kamla Prasad-Bissessar got the support of you, the ordinary members of our party, to take our party forward. We did not have members of parliament. We did not have senators. We did not have national executive members supporting us. But you know who was supporting us? You, the ground soldiers of our party. And in 4 short months, you gave her the mandate to move from political leader to Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. In 2015, the challenge was a little bit greater. We saw the challenge coming from inside. Now, some learned their lesson and some did not. But the thing is that we went back to you, the membership, and we did not depend on MPs, senators, NATEX. We depended on no one but the membership of this party to take our great party forward and give Kamla Prasad-Bissessar the opportunity for the second time to put our house in order. Fast track 2017. On November 26th, you will have the opportunity to create history. You will have the opportunity, the ordinary members of our party, to create a hat-trick. In that, you will have the opportunity, because Trinidad and Tobago is depending on you to make the right decision to put back Kamla Prasad-Bissessar so that she can take us to the government. My friends, people said in 2015, bye-bye Kamla, bye-bye. You remember that? The same people today, they're saying, come back Kamla, come back. My brothers and sisters, what have we done in this party over the past 2 years that we have been in opposition? Our leader came to you and she said we needed to rebrand. We needed to re-image. We needed to put our house in order for a general election. Our party grew from 37,000 members to 105,000 members under Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. That is performance. That is leader. You saw our party groups being put in place. You saw the arms and organs of our party through the women's arm, through the youth arm, through our national executive being strengthened. You know, it was some of you and some of us that called and we said we wanted new people. We wanted new bright faces against this wicked, incompetent, rowdy government. We got young Saddam Hussein. We got young Obika. We got the brilliant Anita Haynes. You saw the return of Ramona Ramdial. You saw it in your councillors. My friends, our leader is prepared to do what it takes legally to take us back into power. My friends, our country is depending on the UNC on Sunday to make the right decision. You know, when the PNM is in government, you see in this country things upside down, things opposite, things just going totally haywire. What's supposed to be A is turned out to be Z. So today I saw a comedian, Prime Minister Keith Rowley, playing comedian. And what he said? He said he was the most accessible Prime Minister. And then I saw Nikki Crosby, a real comedian, playing the opposite role, fighting for Trinidad and Tobago. So I said to myself, I said, like Rowley trying to take Nikki walk. Because you see, when a person like Nikki Crosby, who brings much laughter and smiles to our faces, feels compelled to stand up for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the next day you have Keith Rowley coming to play comedian with Mama Guy and Old Talk. I tell Keith Rowley tonight, the only people who believe that you're accessible is the people who groom in the golf course. Because the people of San Francisco, Woodland, Pritchardstown, Naparima, Separia, Orubuch West, Orubuch East, we are still waiting for you in the floodwaters. You see, when I stood up in the parliament and I told him, you come down south, walking with your hands swinging, not a cricks, not a sardine, not a panadol, they called me a racist. But I want to tell you, it is because you, the people in South and Central, support the UNC, that they treat you with scant disregard and discourtesy, hate and venom. My brothers and sisters, you see on November 26th, it is the first sign of a victory that we will move forward to take back Trinidad and Tobago under Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. And as I ask you to stand, rise in your numbers, shout at the rooftops, wave your flags, blow your whistles, toot your horns, as we welcome the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, our political leader, our Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, come November 26th, as she takes back the mantle of leadership of the United.
Thank you all very much. For the crowds of people that are standing outside, I'm very sure we can fit you all inside. If we don't have any chairs left, we have place in our hearts for you as well. So please come in, join us. Now it's a little bit difficult to follow the entrance of our political leader. So give her a round of applause one more time. And yes, I'm a little biased, that's my member of parliament. As I was saying, it's a little bit difficult to follow the entrance of our political leader, but our next speaker is very able and very capable to do so. She's a young and dynamic professional who has recently taken up the responsibility of taking charge and fighting the PNM in the upper house of our parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, the Public Relations Officer of the United National Congress, freshly minted and newly appointed Senator Anita Haynes.
Good night, UNC family. I have the distinct honor of welcoming our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, to tonight's proceedings. So can I hear all your hands raising and applause for our next political leader? I had an entire speech prepared for tonight. And then the Prime Minister came on TV with a press conference, and I had to change a few things. Because what we saw today was a crisis in leadership on our television. We saw a leader trying to cover arrogance, to cover incompetence with arrogance. He came on TV to tell us what we already knew, what Rodney Charles told us, that they have no plan. And so we saw a Prime Minister that did not even see it fit to give you an excuse for what happened yesterday. He said, "What all you want from me? Doing the best we can and let the police do their work." And that is not enough. But we in the UNC know what leadership is. We have seen and we have felt what a true leader can do for our country. We have seen development in every aspect during the years 2010 and 2015. As a matter of fact, today, while we were commenting on the Prime Minister's failure, a certain person saw it fit to ask me where I was between 2010 and 2015 as they sought to blame Kamla Prasad-Bissessar for yesterday's incident. Well, I was right here. I was here when students had access to GATE. I was here when students had access to opportunity. And I was here when our country was on a path to development. And I am here today when we have none of those things. So on November 26th, we in the UNC have an important role to play in our national development because we will be electing the next Prime Minister of this country. There will be some options. There will be some options on your ballot paper, but only one will be worth your time. And you follow the star. You follow the star to her name for political leader. You follow the star for all these distinguished people behind me here today. And I can guarantee you that the UNC will grow and become stronger than ever. We have a political leader in Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar that has now made Team UNC a trending topic on Instagram. And she has done that because she has shown that each and every one of you is important to our party and important to our development. So now you must return the favor and show that she and her team is important to you. So on Sunday, wake up early, take time away from your chores and head to the polls, especially those of you in Naparima. You go the earliest and in your strongest numbers. And we will re-elect the leader that will take our country forward because we are moving forward with Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. Thank you.
That's right, brothers and sisters of the United National Congress. We are moving forward with our political leader and her star team. It's not a one-person job. You need a team to take this country forward. And I dare say that our leader has put together a magnificent team, ladies and gentlemen. At this point in time, I'd like to bring to the podium to address this audience who's been so vibrant and friendly and loving as my UNC family usually is. I bring to you the past minister and future minister, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Our distinguished, brilliant political leader and the best Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago has ever seen in its history, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, all my parliamentary colleagues, councillors, aldermen, chairman, United National Congress family. It is a distinct honor and a privilege for me to speak this evening for a short while, and I will just focus on one aspect of the national governance. In 1997 to 2000, Mrs. Bissessar, as Minister of Education, brought on a revolution in education then by ensuring that every child who moved from common entrance could have gotten a place in secondary school. And it became a reality that from 1962 to 1997, 35 years, almost 7,000 to 10,000 students never got a place in a secondary school. And Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar made that history. So from 2000, every child writing common entrance secured a place. Then in 2010 to 2015, as Prime Minister, she gave the largest support to the education system because her vision was people-centered development and human capital development. And through her stewardship, she was able to revolutionize the education system in Trinidad and Tobago. 98,000 laptops, 2 million textbooks for our children, regrading of the primary and secondary school curriculum. We gave over 155,000 meals to students. We trained thousands and thousands of our teachers. And most importantly, here again, Mrs. Bissessar brought on universal early childhood education. So her legacy, part of her legacy is in the education sector as well, having brought on universal secondary education and now having brought on universal early childhood education. So her legacy continues. And now what we are seeing is a precipitous reversal of all the gains we made in the education sector, coming back to naught with a sleeping and half-alive Minister of Education, the most wicked, evil, corrupt PNM government who is taking this country down a precipice and almost to a failed state. So on Sunday, my brothers and sisters, we all have an onerous responsibility. Each one of us must multiply our votes 100-fold so that at the end of Sunday's election, we must have thousands and thousands of our people who have voted for Mrs. Bissessar, not only to continue to be your political leader, but continue to be your next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for a second time, where she will continue to work with you, serve you with her people in government, so that our children, our elderly, our sick, our handicapped people, and everybody in Trinidad and Tobago will benefit from her stewardship and her leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a world distinguished leader. She has stood on the world stage. She was head of the Commonwealth for 54 countries for 6 months. And that is the stewardship and the leadership of our great, beloved political leader, former Prime Minister. So let us come out on Sunday and give our resounding support to our distinguished leader. And so we will march on to victory when the election is called, even at 2020 or even before that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MP. And you said it right. Our leader is a leader of the people. And that is what Dr. Rowley could never learn to be. He does not represent. That is what Dr. Rowley could never learn to be. He does not represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago. He may represent a few, maybe the one of the people as well. They represent the burgesses and the constituents to the best of their ability. And our next speaker is no excuse. I bring to you the
to give your ringing endorsement to the next political leader of the United National Congress, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, and her star-studded team that will lead this party into resurgence as we march side by side with her to reclaim the government and governance of Trinidad and Tobago. My brothers and sisters, your great party, our great party needs our leader now. Our great nation needs Kamla Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC to rescue Trinidad and Tobago, because Trinidad and Tobago has collapsed in every sector based on the most corrupt, based on the most inefficient, based on the most scandal-ridden government, both based on the most incompetent government to grace Trinidad and Tobago's political history. And the time is now to begin to march with her and our new executive beyond Monday to ensure that we prepare our party on all fronts and at all arms to ensure that we continue that people-centered and people's empathy government that you grew accustomed to under her visionary and caring leadership for 5 years between May of 2010 to September of 2015, my brothers and sisters. And tonight, I want to tell you, it is our responsibility. We must be able to arm ourselves with all the tools at our disposal to defend our great leader and to defend our great party. And I say to you here tonight that you must not be weak, you must not be faint-hearted, because your leader and our government ensured that we delivered within budget, within time, and with a sense of focusing to ensure that there was delivery in education, there was delivery in healthcare, there was delivery in terms of infrastructural development in Trinidad and Tobago in every front, because it was unparalleled and unprecedented in the political history of Trinidad and Tobago, my brothers and sisters. And let no PNM operative at any level of this country, whether it is Keith Rowley, whether it is any minister of government or any ordinary member of the PNM, tell you that your government thief and your government did not deliver to you. You must tell them that it was schools, it was the highway to Point 14, it was the aquatic center, it was the children teaching hospital, it was the San Fernando teaching hospital, it was the highway, it was the police station in Point 14 and Guapo. It was 9 police stations. You must be able to tell them it was the National Aquatic Center and Cycling Velodrome, the Diego Martin Highway, and I could go on and on here tonight. My brothers and sisters, you must be able to carry that message throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. And when they tell you that your party was corrupt, you must fight back and tell them it is the PNM has been thieving from day one since September of 2015. Whether it was in the Brad Lara Stadium, or the fake oil at Petrotrin, the $900 million at EFCL, and the scandal after scandal, corruption after corruption. And that is why you need to return Kamla Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC to ensure that we can deliver within time, within budget, and within a sense of care and feel for the ordinary citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Long live our distinguished political leader. Long live our executive to lift this party for the next 3 years. Long live the rank and file of this party. I thank you, my brothers and sisters.
I dare you to find one PNM member of parliament that have that kind of fire in their belly. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Member of Parliament, Mr. Rujanath Indar Singh. And when you hear an MP speaking with that level of passion, is because they are on the front line and they feel the pain. They sit day after day and face the PNM in Parliament, and they see firsthand the absolute nonsense that is taking place, the pillaging of our treasury and the raping of our country. It is because of that kind of fire in the belly that our next speaker became the most popular person in Trinidad and Tobago when it comes to the PNM and their supporters. They tried to slap him with a gag order, and they still couldn't keep him quiet. Right? They read an arrest warrant for him in Parliament, and they still couldn't keep him quiet. They come up with a fake charge, and they're taking him to court, and bet your bottom dollar they still can't keep him quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, the Member of Parliament for Urupuch East, the strong, the powerful and dynamic, Dr. Rudal Munilal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Naresh. I sat next to Lakram Bodo there for the last few minutes, and when Rudy was talking, I said, Lax, I'm sorry for the man who had to talk after here. And then I got a note, this is me. The Honorable Political Leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar and Dr. Gregory Bissessar, parliamentary colleagues, candidates on the stage, our leaders of the constituencies, supporters all, may I also take this opportunity to welcome to Urupuch East and the UNC meeting, Ms. Vida John, the mother of our deputy political leader candidate, Jerlene John. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Brothers and sisters, we are now coming from Parliament, and in the event you didn't see it, today has been something of a historic day. We did what we believe would have been impossible. We silenced Stuart Young in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Because today, in a private motion, we made very serious and damning allegations against him involving collusion with an auditing firm called PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, and we accuse him today of corruption, of collusion, of conspiracy to undermine important investigations that lead to trumped-up charges at the HDC and at other state agencies. We accuse him at 2 o'clock. It is now 20 past 8, and the fellow ain't reply yet. That is a fellow will jump and call a press conference, run up and talk. He duck and he slink down in the chair and hide all evening. He could not respond to the charge of conspiracy and collusion. And tonight on a platform in front of you and outside of the Parliament, I accuse him of corruption, and we will write the Police and the Integrity Commission over his conduct. Brothers and sisters, we also accuse Randall Mitchell, the Minister of Housing, at 2 p.m. or thereabout. We accuse him of corruption. We accuse him of having intimate knowledge in the distribution of a penthouse at Victoria Keys. And I ask him, please tell us, If you know or do not know the recipient of a $4 million property, he stayed quiet all evening and he could not deny the information that we put on the public record. He's accused. So brothers and sisters, today was a great day for our party in the parliament by way of exposing their corruption. But what happened yesterday when this country was plunged into mourning, into distress, into depression, into trauma, when a group of people on the beatum held this country to ransom. The police was ducking from bullets on the beatum. A particular national figure made a video and wept and wept and cried out for our beloved land. You all saw that video. What was the response of the Prime Minister? Confronting a reporter in Couva, he said, and I quote, the reporter asked him, what is your comment on what is happening in Beetham? He said, and I quote, where you standing? In Couva? Well, then don't ask me about Beetham. I'm here to talk about Couva. That is the callous and uncaring response of a Prime Minister. Brothers and sisters, if ever this country needed Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, it is today. If ever this country needed the United National Congress, it is now. We must be mobilized. We must be organized. We must agitate so we will get this PNM out of government in the shortest possible time. And on Sunday, mobilize your communities, your streets, your villages, your towns to come out in your numbers and vote. Many people are telling us, well, Mrs. Prasad-Bissessar win already, but she's contesting not again against one person, she's contesting against two people. Not one, but two. So she needs your support, we need your support to come out. It would have been 3 people against her, but one fella, before he get in the race, he withdraw from the race. Now I don't know how you just withdraw before you get in, but that's another matter. So brothers and sisters, they couldn't even fight. They couldn't even fight when the time come. Brothers and sisters, we must mobilize on Sunday and come out in our numbers and show our support for the team that carries the star, that wears the star proudly, so that we may build our party and remove Keith Rowley in the shortest possible time. Thank you. God bless our great party. God bless our political leader. And God bless you.
Now you understand why WPC Robinson Regis read out the warrant for him in Parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Honorable Dr. Rudal Munilal. I stand to be corrected. My history may be a little bit off. But when we were in government, there was a point in time the Honorable Prime Minister at the time and our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, stood to speak in Parliament, and Dr. Munilal, you will correct me if I'm going wrong. And the PNM at the time was in opposition, got so worried and they're so scared of what she was about to say, they got up and they left. Good, I was correct. Similarly, there's a woman who is coming to the national executive this time around that has Keith Rowley, Stuart Little, and all the rest of the people in the PNM quaking in their boots. It's not Stuart Little, is his name? Okay, sorry, I got that wrong. This young lady, a professional and a public servant who has dedicated her life to service, all them East-West corridor seats that they think is PNM, they're quaking in their boots because there are few persons that know the inside and outside of the running of government institution, like one of our soon-to-be deputy political leaders of the United National Congress. Ladies and gentlemen of the UNC, welcome with a lusty round of applause, Miss Jarlene John.
Chairman, well, thank you for calling me young. Honorable political leader, other candidates, members of parliament, brothers and sisters, members of the media. Yesterday's uprising in Beetham, unlike MP Charles who asked, what intelligence they had, did the security services discern? You did not need intelligence. That was common sense. I mean, once you must know, when you live in that community, we all see it as people from outside the community, if you touch anybody in those communities, right away, you know, they come together in protest. So that was a good given because we have seen it before. To some looking in, it may appear to be depressed and even dysfunctional. But there's a real and true spirit of community in these communities. And I'm not romanticizing it, it is true. You understand? There are people also. Today I was told that a member of parliament on the government benches called them bandits. Said when the Color Me Orange program was launched, it was feeding bandits. Now, that program was launched under the Honorable Patrick Manning. It was their program. You know, but they lie so much that they want the national community to believe it is a program that was not well thought out, and it was a program that was started by the People's Partnership. But it was a good program because it assisted young people with no hope to paint their buildings, to do window repairs, to do electricals, to do plumbing, to do landscaping, and you gave them pride. They had pride, there was something. What you're seeing there is not only a protest because people want to get on bad. Maybe there's some element of that also. But there are people who are looking for hope. We did not, during the Color Me Orange program, it was not DEBE. This program was targeted and was offered to, and the people from communities such as Powder Magazine, Harp Place, Beverly Hills, Beta, Mova, Maloney, etc. So who are these folks? These are the people who vote for the PNM, aren't they? These are their folks at the end of the day. But to then Prime Minister Patrick Manning, these people are not bandits. To Dr. Rudal Munialal, who came in after, and representation was made on behalf of these people, they were not bandits because he agreed. To me, they were not bandits. To the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, because she launched one of these programs, they were not bandits. Certainly, there are major issues plaguing the residents of these areas. But that doesn't mean that we stereotype, we look down, we buff, we insult. Say to them, but for the grace of God, go a tie. Because all of us are beneficiaries of somebody assisting us, being the wing beneath our wings. As MP Fazal said earlier on, educating and training, and I'm paraphrasing, boys and girls should be deeply embedded in our national security policies. When we did programs such as Color Me Orange or Hoop of Life, it is about the fence line communities of the HDC along that east-west corridor benefiting. The chairman was right. When you see they calling out my name, don't worry yourself, you know. I am happy because that is my retirement fund. If they feel the treasury empty now, wait until I'm done with them. If they feel it empty now, that is when they're going to be balling. Don't bother when stupid people talking foolishness. There's a little saying. I'm not letting out any secret at all. That's why I'm thinking, I paused a little bit. There's a little saying, but I'm paraphrasing again. Don't comment on how the day has been until you have seen the evening. It ain't evening yet. Don't worry. What our programs did was to provide opportunities for unemployed residents of these communities while they fix windows and what have you. When we did Hoop of Life and we brought Shaquille O'Neal here, one of the biggest basketball stars in America, it was about providing inspiration for these communities. The early childhood centers help young mothers to find affordable, high-quality educational experience for their children. And we must give the MP, Dr. Gopi Singh, a round of applause. For that was the best Minister of Education ever. The food card, the baby grant, a robust school feeding program, the children hospital, policies and programs targeted at the least amongst us. Why is that? When Kamla Prasad-Bissessar look at the least amongst us, she doesn't see somebody to look down on or to both or to say them and us. She sees the face of Christ. She has empathy. She has love in her heart. And that is not a weakness. It's a strength. We see how hard it is for big hardback man to love people, so they buff them. You understand? To have empathy for them, so they buff them. But our beloved political leader, she has empathy. And all of our programs are targeted at the least amongst us. So I hope the people from these communities referred to are listening, and when the time comes, will vote for vision, will vote for a plan, will vote to secure their right to be here in Trinidad and Tobago, and will vote to really participate as productive citizens of this country. I thank you.
Thank you very much, incoming Deputy Political Leader of the United National Congress. And the supporters of the United National Congress will make sure that happens on the 26th of November. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, we mightn't realize what's going on right now within our party. But what we are doing is putting together a team as we are about to take our nation back on the path to development. As we are about to take the people of Trinidad and Tobago back in the hands of people who actually care. Ladies and gentlemen, our MPs work tirelessly every day. And right now we have another hard-working MP who's worked wisely for the people of Pointe-à-Pierre, who has listened to them carefully as they come to him in his office. The people voted positively in his favor and elected him member of parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you none other than our MP for Pointe-à-Pierre, Dr. David Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Denisha, and Chair of tonight's proceedings. I want to apologize for being late to my honorable leader, Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, but I just left Parliament. So please, I apologize, Chief. Brother, honorable political leader, and my other colleagues, members of Parliament, senators, and NATEX members, you, my brothers and sisters of the United National Congress, are you ready to rescue Trinidad and Tobago? Are you ready to remove the PNM? Are you ready to return your party to government? Then this Sunday, my brothers and sisters, all you have to do is to turn out in your thousands and vote for the only leader of this party, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, and your next political leader. Friends, this internal elections comes at a time in our nation's history when hundreds of thousands of our citizens are suffering due to the incompetence of the PNM. This internal elections comes at a time when our nation is being ruined, our public institutions are being destroyed, and our laws and constitution are being disrespected by all because of neglect and mismanagement by the Keith Rowley-led administration. Most importantly, this internal election comes at a time when the people of Trinidad and Tobago are shouting for change and saying enough is enough. Therefore, it is critical that your party shapes itself into the vehicle that can restore and rebuild our nation. And how do we do that? We do that by ensuring that Kamla Prasad-Bissessar and her star team delivers a strong victory on Sunday. Would you do that for our leader? Brothers and sisters, it has been an honor to serve your great party as chairman for the past 2 years. And it's been a even greater pleasure to witness the drive, determination, and vision by Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, who has displayed as leader of the UNC as she worked to create a party that fights for the rights and welfare of our people. In 2015, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, together with many of us, came to you and asked for your support to build the UNC. We came to you as our party entered opposition and told you that we would champion your cause and fight the uncertain times. Tonight, brothers and sisters, I can say to you that after 2 years, led valiantly by the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar, we kept our promise to you. As a team, we worked hard in hand to deliver a strong party and represent each and every one of you of this nation. As a team, we united in common purpose to deliver a party that continues to speak out and fight for our citizens' rights and welfare. In 2015, they thought we would go silent and roll over, but your team, UNC, responded by going throughout Trinidad and Tobago with our Monday night forum to ensure we could bring the issues to you over the past 2 years. In the past 2 years, never for one moment did we ever let financial constraints keep our party back from achieving its goals of defending your rights. It was our NATEX team in the past 2 years and your leader who led a number of fundraisers to ensure that our party keeps running. Many times it was this team who took from our own pockets to ensure that the party kept running. Today, there are those ungrateful detractors who say the UNC cannot win an election if election is called today. But it is with the hard work of this great party, the strategic mobilization of your team UNC, and the diligent leadership of Kamla Prasad-Bissessar to ensure that that in the local government election of 2016, we show a brilliant success in that election, my brothers and sisters. So brothers and sisters, do not be fooled. In the past 2 years, your leader and her team ensured your party is stronger than ever. Brothers and sisters, as we move forward as a party, we must remind ourselves of the founding principles of our party. Those principles are equality, justice for all, and people-centered development. My question to you tonight is which leader will upkeep those principles? Only one person, that is the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. Which leader will ensure that each and every citizen is given equal opportunity to achieve their goals, and that leader is Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. Which leader will ensure that every citizen and every community receives the development that they are entitled to, and that leader is Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. As a party, it is critical we look at the challenges before us as a nation and choose the best leader who can face these challenges head on and deliver better Trinidad and Tobago. We must ask ourselves, which leader will protect our families and reduce crime? And that leader is none other than Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. Which leader will ensure employment and the opportunity for citizens to have food on their tables? Kamla Prasad-Bissessar did it already and will do it again for us, my brothers and sisters. Which leader will ensure a fair education and bright future for our children? Kamla Prasad-Bissessar did it already and will do it again in the next general election. Brothers and sisters, there's only one choice for leadership on Sunday. That is the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. These coming days isn't a time to ask what your party can do for you, but rather it is a time what you can do for your party. These coming days is a time for all who say they love Kamla Prasad-Bissessar and more so love their nation to stand up and strengthen our party. As we go out to vote on Sunday on our thousands of people, let us say we love Kamla, and let us go out in our thousands and support the only leader that can return us into government, and that is the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar. I thank you.
Now, I have a bad habit ever since I was a child of my mouth putting me in trouble. So I hope I continue to do that tonight. MP Lee said something. We have some certain detractors who like to call themselves members of this party. And they're going outside there and saying that the UNC cannot win an election. Well, hear what? It is them that can't win an election. If an election were to call in the parlor on the corner, they couldn't win the deposit. My brothers and sisters, the United National Congress knows how to win. And the next time, when Keith Rowley takes God out of his thoughts and call an election his cocktail book, If you're UNC and you're proud, let me hear you make some noise. The next gentleman to come to the microphone is a young and a dynamic individual who is well educated and absolutely fluent when he takes the microphone. I overheard in a public meeting that he was tasked with the responsibility of turning point 14 yellow the next time we have an election. I want to volunteer to help him with that task. Ladies and gentlemen, another one of our freshly minted senators who is giving the PNM hell in the upper house. Please put your hands together for Senator Tahaka Obika.
Good evening to the people of DEBE. Let me try that again. Good evening to DEBE. I am UNC and I am proud. I have the singular honor of welcoming on stage none other than our rising star. She has been the best Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. She has positioned this country. 5 years or 3 years of PNM cannot carry us back because she has carried us more than 10 years in the future. So we are ready and we are waiting. Who is this leader, this star? She's a visionary leader who serves the people, and what? I see you are with us. She has built this party into a national powerhouse. The UNC is now the party of the nation. When I look in the crowd, I see all the colors of the rainbow of this blessed Trinidad and Tobago. Give yourselves a round of applause. There's a saying, when you want to go fast, you go alone. When you want to go far, you go together. And our bright star has ensured we understand the importance of Team UNC. She has led with passion, commitment, fortitude. And with her, we are moving this nation forward. We are moving the United National Congress forward. People of DEBE, please join me. Join us in welcoming to the podium the next political leader of the United National Congress and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bissessar.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Members of our UNC family, friends, supporters, I say good evening, but I also want to show you tonight, I think we have demonstrated that our party is in great hands with these young ones. So for those of us, as we go forward, we can see in my own constituency, the young man who was chairman, he is the chairman of the Superior constituency. Narish, give a round of applause. The Superior is in good hands too. And then we have Denisha coming from the east. She has been chairing us. Thank her so much. Denisha, where is Denisha? Thank you. So we have a great team. I'll just spend a few minutes tonight to introduce you to the entire team. So bear with me. A lot of talk has gone, and I'll spend a few minutes talking to you about our plans as we go forward. But I think it's important that you know the team that will be put in place on Sunday. This woman, this young lady, really needs very little introduction. She is, in fact, a product of the UNC. She started a campaign with the UNC even before she could vote. She was still in school. By age 17, she was running a homework center and a sports and youth group from her home through her village council in Karapo. She was engaged in squatter regularization. I worked with her then as a lawyer, helping those that the PNM was mashing down their houses, breaking their houses, and evicting people. She worked for them. This young lady even got locked up because she was working, helping poor, vulnerable people. In the UNC, she worked as street captain, she worked at polling agent, area manager, campaign manager, youth officer, and chairman for numerous elections at the constituency level. I think she made a fellow named Vassan Bharat cry in St. Augustine in 2010 because she was running that polling station for me when I was running for leader. And she said that he started to cry when the lick started to drop down in 2010 at that Tudapuna Hindu school. And so she has served as an advisor to the Minister of Local Government, and before that, she was the first ever chairwoman of a regional corporation, the Tudapuna Piako Regional Corporation. She has served with me since 2010 as deputy leader, and she continues to serve for us in the Senate. I give to you our next deputy leader, Khadija Amin. Thank you. Our next member of the team is your Member of Parliament for Pointe-à-Pierre. He will be one of the 3 deputy leaders. I am sure he will excel in that role because he has served for the last 2 years as chairman of the UNC, and of course he's been serving as the chief whip in the benches in the Parliament. Before he was elected as an MP, he was the chairman of Metal Industries Company Limited under the partnership and under MP Fazal Karim's ministry. I know that he was very involved with helping young people through that program that Fazal had introduced, the MIC program, and building these MIC centers throughout. So he has experience as a businessman and now as a politician. Please welcome our next deputy leader, MP David Lee. Our 3rd deputy leader has spoken here tonight for you, with you, and I am very honored and privileged that she consented to take this post. And I think she means to take it very seriously because she brought her mother here to make sure to keep an eye on her tonight. And I'm sure Mom is well proud of Jillian John. Please, Deputy Leader Jillian John. And you know, she worked with Dr. Munilal for the past number of years in the HDC and in the UDCOT. And so she was one of the main drivers, helping us to build the police stations, the fire stations, the Children's Hospital, the San Fernando Teaching Hospital, the Arima Hospital, the Point. So she's a true project manager, construction, and at the same time, a lot of brains upstairs here. On top of all of that, nobody could stand up to Jillian John. She will fight them down all the way. So welcome her and thank her. So we have our 3 deputy leaders, Khadija, David, and Jillian as our deputy leaders. And our next person who will be serving as chairman is no stranger to the UNC. When I fought for the deputy political leader so many years ago, I don't even remember, and she could remember you in that campaign, huh? Are you giving me a date? Which year? 2001. Peter Kanai worked with me, campaigned with me, and he's been working with us and the UNC even before, but especially since then. So Peter Kanai, a businessman. Peter was my main organizer for all the children's toy drives. Remember those great things? We're going to Christmas again. No toys for the children from this really stingy, Scrooge government. No toys, but Peter was a main organizer. He would arrange, he would get the funding and so on. He was the chairman of that committee, serving with many others. So he was chairman of the Sport and Culture Fund. He was a member of the Cabinet Special Committee to implement and fast-track prison reform and so on. So he's been in government, outside government, and through it all a great stalwart. As I say, we welcome Peter Kanhai as the chairman of our party. And our vice chairman, deputy chairman, has served for the last 2 years. He's a former minister of government. He is a man who has answered the call to service, and he was involved in education before he got into politics. He has continued to work in improving the lives of those that he comes in touch with. Clifton Dikoto will be our next deputy chairman. In 2010, when I decided to launch a campaign for the leadership of our great party, there were some persons who really helped me in that campaign. And that was a time when the then leadership of the party refused to give us any membership lists. And so we had to make do and call. I think Barry mentioned it earlier, you know, that we had no MPs with us really. We had no executives. We just had me and some people. Ramona was involved in that campaign too. Barry was involved in that campaign. But so also was Arnold Ram, who has really distinguished himself. He will serve as our next policy and strategy officer. Now, this is a person who kept improving himself through education. So he graduated, what was it, in engineering, Arnold? You were an engineer. And from that engineering, he recently got a degree in law with distinction from the University of Staffordshire. Please give a round of applause. And he also completed a master's degree in business administration. At this time, he's working as a senior manager at the TSTT. So he has the experience, but he also has the smarts, the street smarts, ground troops, mobilizing, organizing, and so on. So I'm very happy for you again to welcome Anna Ram, our next policy and strategy officer. We have a new person joining the executive, another new person, and she may seem to be a new face, but she's not. Her parents have been with the UNC as long as I can remember. They've been UNC, and now we have UNC children who are stepping up to take the space. So I want you to welcome our new education officer, Maria Rodriguez, daughter of Joma. So we have the young and the not so young, so we can marry the experience with the youth as we take our great party forward. For the post of research officer is a new face to some of us or to some of you, but certainly a very experienced person, a great woman. She's a former advisor to the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Child Development. So she would have worked sometimes with Clifton Dikoto and then thereafter with Marlene. She is a former advisor as well for the Ministry of National Diversity. She is an appointed ambassador to the United Nations at large and to intergovernment bodies by the World of Life Ministries International, which is the only full gospel organization to be accredited by the United Nations Economic and Social Council. She holds a doctorate in philosophy and in theology, a diploma in chaplaincy, leadership, and ministry with the CICA International University. And she also has a master's in public sector management, a Bachelor of Science in Public Sector Management and International Relations, a certificate in public administration. And all these she got from a great university, the one I attended, the University of the West Indies. So we welcome Dr. Colleen Baino Suku as our new research officer in the party. She has played a very integral role with the establishment of the Children's Authority that we had set up. So great people, great experience. Now, Don Sylvester is no stranger to anybody. I don't think there's a person in UNC who doesn't know Don Sylvester. He's been with us since 2010 and before. He worked with Mr. Pandey's team, and then when I became leader, he's been working with us. And he will be our returning, incoming elections officer. Don Sylvester, please welcome him. And he has served on many occasions as a UNC senator. Our treasurer is Dr. Rai Ragbir. He is well known to the UNC family. He has served in the executive. After completing his postgrad studies in family medicine in the United Kingdom, he came home and he started working then at the North Central Health Authority, Regional Health Authority, as a primary care manager, managing over 20 health centers. And he was also there to commission the Cuba District Health Facility. In addition to his various positions, chairman of the board of CISL and so on, keeping true to the philosophy, one should never stop learning. Dr. Rai is also pursuing now a diploma in law at the University of London. His focus has been, continues to be, and I've seen it with my own eyes, helping people. Dr. Rai Ragbir will be our new treasurer for the UNC. Please welcome him. And some of you may have seen, after the floods, Dr. Ragbir went about into different constituencies, giving health care, medication, and so on. And he's been doing it throughout in our constituencies, free medical clinics. So he's very, very important to our organization. And thank you very much, Doctor. For our party organizer, again, a person who is no stranger to the UNC, has been a UNC child and now a UNC man. He is a party organizer, Ravi Ratiram, industrious, patriotic. Please welcome Ravi. He holds a bachelor's degree in electrical and computer engineering from UE, a certificate in global leadership from the University of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and he remains committed. He ran for the seat in Point Fortin, but I think he's passed the baton for Point Fortin to young Tahaka here to make Point Fortin yellow for us, as I said. So Ravi will continue, come back in as our party organizer. International Relations Officer. This person is an exceptional young man, and he has served our great party with distinction. He was a Commonwealth Youth Ambassador of Trinidad and Tobago 2010 to 15, representing our country in Australia, in Sri Lanka, in the United Kingdom, and in Dubai. Given his work to create effective youth engagement systems within Trinidad, he was appointed as the United Nations Habitat Youth Ambassador at the World Youth Forum Conference in 2014. In this capacity, he ensured that Trinidad and Tobago moved from 189, ranking of 189, under his watch, we moved to rank 29 in the My World Youth Survey. In 2015, he was elected as Youth Prime Minister in the Guardian Youth Elect, which resulted in him being awarded as one of the Youth of the Year 2015 at the National Youth Awards that was hosted. Nicholas also served Trinidad and Tobago as a youth parliamentarian in the National Youth Parliament of 2008 and later represented us at the Commonwealth Caribbean Youth Parliament. He worked his way through the ranks of the UNC. He started as a youth officer of Arima constituency in 2008. In 2011, he was elected as the party's youth arm chairman, and then subsequently elected in 2012, and then in 2015, he really became the longest serving youth arm chairman. But he passed the age, because you have to be under 25. And then he came on the NATEX as International Relations Officer. Nicholas Morris will continue in that position after November. On the star team is Brian Baig as Northeast Regional Representative. Brian is an attorney at law, a lifetime member of our party. He has served at the youth arm level. He served at the constituency executive level and on several party committees. He has also served as a temporary senator. And Brian is well known by many of you on the social media because you see he doesn't sleep. He's always on the social media, on the blogs, on the call-in programs, on the radio. They just terminated his contract, or his contract expired, where he was working at the Ministry of the Attorney General. They refused to renew him because of his big mouth, always out on the social media. A great young man, please welcome Northeast Rep. Brian Baig. And for my own area here for the South Regional Rep. Shanti has been working with me throughout my years in politics, and I think the whole Shanti family. In fact, Shanti is so well known outside of this constituency. I saw a gentleman who used to be a UNC MP on his blog. He referred to the Shanti Brigade. I think that's an honor for Shanti to have a brigade, the Shanti Yellow Brigade, as the UNC, at the heart of the UNC. So welcome Shanti, present councillor in the PDRC, incoming South Regional Representative. No stranger to us as well, a former candidate for the UNC in the Port of Spain region. Let us welcome our Northwest Regional Representative. He is a very vibrant, energetic young man. We know well about him for his work ethic, his values, and very sound business practices. Put your hands together, welcome our Northwest Regional Rep, Eli Zakuru. Our Caroni Central, not Caroni Central, our Central Regional Rep couldn't be here tonight. He had someone passed in his family, but that is, many of you know him. He's the incoming, he was outgoing, he's coming back in. Imam Rashid Karim will be our Central Regional Rep. And last but not least is our Tobago Regional Rep. At a young age of 26, Bimal Ramlogan is running for his second term as Regional Coordinator, Tobago. He comes from Signal Hill, Tobago. He holds a BSc major in Environmental and Natural Resource Management, a minor in Marine Biology, and is one of very few in the Caribbean with something known as a diploma in forestry. Please welcome young Bimal Ramlogan as our Tobago rep. So there you have it. This is our team. This is the team. Now you will see something here. Tonight I'm talking to you about the team here that will form our national executive. Right in front of me, we have another team, and their job is to do the battle inside of the parliament as members of parliament. And I will tell you, from where we were after the election in 2015, when they recorded the loss against us, we have come such a long way. Such a long way. And up to today, I'm watching the Parliament channel. I was coughing too much, so I sent up the others went up to Parliament, and some left and some stayed. They really ended up as the last man standing on the bench, because everybody else had left towards the end to head down here. And I'm watching the Parliament channel, and you know, I'm thinking, when Dr. Munlal mentioned to you before that he got this fella small, well, you probably couldn't see him. But on the TV, you could see the guy. That's the all-purpose minister of everything, Stuart Young. So when Munlal was speaking and raising those issues today, you could see that you really had him scrunched down into his seat. And then the booming voice of MP Imdar Singh was the backup speaker today. You did great. You put them in their place. Thank you. And so all our MPs, it's an uphill battle in that parliament, starting from the first few days of the sittings, when the Jambi, the Likoto Jambi, she's a self-styled Likoto Jambi. She stood in the parliament. She said, I am the Likoto Jambi, and every day will be in your face in every place because we are in charge. No. That's the lady. That's the kind of people we have to put up with. We have a new TV star in the person of MP Rashtan Pare for the fake oil, the Kobo star for the ferry boats and so on. Starring, so give him a round of applause. The young senators we brought in, Tak and Anita, they've been doing a great job up in the Senate for us. Peppermint Barry, well, you can't stop him. Thank you, Barry, in the Parliament. Ramona just brought a new member of the UNC. She just delivered a UNC baby. Thank you for coming out. She's also fighting in there. And Dr. Bodo has also been putting up. When he first started in Parliament, you see, he's such a nice person. And he thinks everybody is nice like him. So when he went to Parliament in the early days, Dr. Bodo being nice. The fella get up and he thank the government for something. Now, when you're in a Parliament, you never thank them for anything. But he was new and he's nice, you know. As soon as he finished talking and he sit down at PNM, get up and start to blows him. Blows everything he said. I say, boy, that was a baptism of fire. And you learn. So he's doing great. He has improved tremendously in his delivery in the parliament, outside the parliament. And of course, Faz is a veteran, so we thank Faz as well, holding his own in the parliament. And then Dr. Tim in the back there, well, Tim's voice, there are three guys who sit down at the end. And Vidya's in the middle of the three of them down there. And they said there's a baritone down there. So it's the two Rudis, Indar Singh and Munilal, and Tim, and poor Vidya is in the middle of them somewhere down there. So Vidya too has done very well from when she first started as a new MP, blazing out to the parliament. We have a great team. And the MPs who are not here, I think they chose not to be here because all MPs were invited to join us here tonight. So I will say no more on the absentee persons. But for those, I missed out somebody? I didn't see Saddam. Okay, another young senator we put in, Saddam Hussein. Yeah, hold on, I ain't finished. Saddam, now, when we appointed Saddam, a fella came to see me at my office in Port of Spain, opposition. He come and he said, leader, you put a political bomb inside the parliament. I said, who is that? He said, a fella named Saddam Hussein. But he is a bomb politically. He speaks really bright. He's a lawyer as well, and he's really doing well in the Senate. So I saved Rodney now. Let me talk about Rodney. Rodney was the Sia man. In 2015, Rodney told all of us, told the whole country. Remember Rodney? Keith Rowley has no plan. Spin the wheel. You remember? And when we first went, they used to laugh at Rodney. They just went now, you know, the green and don't understand how to do the job, so they're happy like puppy, and they'll get up and tell Rodney, plan, no plan, spin away Rodney, what is this today? What is it today? You know, every single thing Rodney said then was true, has come to pass. Every single thing. Every single thing. So we have a good team in the parliament working, and for this executive, what I did, I tried not to put on the parliamentarians on the executive, because they already have a profile, they already have a platform as MPs. Several of them wanted to be on the NATICs. I said, no, let's expand it. So apart from Khadija and Lee, all the others are not in the parliament, which then gives us more people, more faces, more to fight the wicked, incompetent, clueless, rowdy government. That's what we need. And then now, over the 2 years, what I've done also is I brought in a lot of young people as councillors. A lot of young people as councillors and older men. They joined some of the more experienced persons. So we have Chairman Awong here, very experienced. We have Nazimul Mohammed, very experienced. I brought him as older man. And we brought in Kazim as well up on the corridor. And then we have people like, where's the young man? Look at these young ones there, see them looking handsome there. Come forward. Older man, all these young councillors, I'm seeing you. Our party is in good hands, you know. Look. These are just some of the councillors, others are in the crowd somewhere. So we brought in a lot of young people. I remember once Dr. Munilal say, he said, leader, them little children you're bringing in here. Remember, Rudy? I said, the girl just small, she's not a child yet. She passed 18 years. That was Kumari. Kumari, who is the councillor for one of the areas in his seat. Yeah. So we brought in a lot of councillors, new faces, some of the older ones, and they are working so well together. And I saw it in the flooding. You saw UNC everywhere. UNC works. Councillors, aldermen, MPs, senators, out in those floodwaters. And you couldn't find one PNM anywhere helping anyone. But UNC, they were signed. They were signing the co-star contract, Rushton says. So that's where we are as we go forward. Our job now is really to make sure we do everything we can to move the wicked, rowdy government out of office. Everything legally, politically that we can do. You know why? I don't have to go through all of it all over again. But what we do know, this is the worst, most corrupt government ever I have seen in Trinidad. Ever, ever. We used to think that Patrick Manning was bad. Well, Patrick come like a saint now compared to Mr. Rowley. Yes. And his attitude, his manner, I think Rudy said what he told, he reported today. So I wonder when he's in China, well, look, he's not going to take back the invitation. Well, let us say next time it really comes to pass. And he goes to China and they ask him something about Trinidad. He said, I'm in China. No, I only talk about China. That's the kind of prime minister. He just doesn't understand. He doesn't know. So he's in Cuba. He's going to talk about Cuba when the whole of the beat him in chaos and crisis. Jolene mentioned something tonight, and I remember going into those committees myself when there were Dr. Munilal and some others. I think Fazal was involved with those youth programs and so on as well. And we went in there, these young people, they want something to do. This government has taken away all jobs and all opportunities for young people. What do they expect people to do? You come out of school, we used to have the MIC centers, the white-tip centers. Fazal had about 100 different kinds of centers that you could have gone. You could have trained as a driver, trained as a mechanic, trained as a plumber, carpenter, mason, all these things, dressmakers, hairdressers, pilot, well, yes. Could have trained as a pilot. Right down here in St. Madeleine was the drilling school. All these things they have closed down. So when you leave our young people now, they have no future, they have no hope. That is why we concentrated very heavily on education. It's the only way to get yourself out of poverty, to get a different kind of life. And listen, everybody here, every one of you who is a parent or a grandparent, you don't want your children living how you lived when you were growing up. You want them to be better than you are and than you were. That's what you work for. That's what you live for. To have your children trained, get a good job, take care of a family. All of that is lost if we continue to leave these people in office untouched. So, I went to a meeting in my constituency on Wednesday. And particular home, that family, the old man supported me. Then his children supported me and the UNC. They supported the UNC with Mr. Pandey, right? Continued to support me. Then the children supported me. I know the grandchildren is UNC children. It's like a whole 3 generations in one house. So when I went there, the guy came out with a blue T-shirt. And he said, look. I said, wow. He said, MP, you remember? This is the first UNC T-shirt that you gave us. That was way back. But what was interesting on that T-shirt, of course, it had a nice picture. I really looked good then. That was many years ago. It looked really nice. But what was interesting about it is what was written on it. Well, it had Separia and my name, I think. But on it was written, children first. I have stayed true. I have stayed true and consistent. That was in 1995, which would be what, about 17 years ago. Yeah. Children first. So let's get back and get our children on track. On Sunday, I ask you to come out to vote. Tonight, I'm going to do what Robert Kennedy did when he met troops and supporters. Goes up there and says, I want your vote. Tonight, I'm telling you, I want your vote on Sunday. I want your vote on Sunday. Get up early and go out to vote. Now, to vote, your name must be on the list. Many of you will not find your name on the list because let's take any constituency, it's 25,000 to 30,000 electors for a general election or a local. But in a party election, it's only those who are party members will be allowed to vote. The constituency of Separia has about 6,000 members, but there are about 25,000 people who will vote in a normal election. So some of you may be disappointed, but if your name is not on that list, you cannot vote. But you know what? You could still help us. If your name is not on the list, you cannot vote, but you can help us to bring out people whose names are on the list and help us take them to vote. So everyone will still have a part to play and a role to play as we go forward on November 26th. Now, don't take it for granted. Several meetings, I see Mayor Orlando here somewhere. Yeah, I went up to a meeting in Cuba, right? So Mayor, I'm coming out of the car. Mayor Orlando tell me, congratulations. I said, what for? He said, well, you win already. I said, Mayor, don't try that at all. The only time I win is when the vote is put in the box and those votes are counted. So don't take it for granted. Come out on Sunday in your numbers. And for a second reason, and the reason is this, we need to bring out a large voter turnout so that we can run shivers up the spine of our real enemy, the PNM. We must get a big enough voter turnout. Not 500 and something I saw another party had recently. We have to bring out by the thousands so that we should be showing the country and we showing Rowley and the PNM that our party is united, our party is strong, and we are ready once more to take back government from the PNM. That's what we have to do. So I ask you for your vote, and when you go to vote, you must carry a picture ID. So first, your name must be on the list, and you must have a picture ID. Your ID card, your driver's permit, or your passport, okay? So they can identify you. I think this school is one of the venues. This PARVATI school is one of the venues for the constituents, the membership in the Oropuch East constituency. You will come right here to vote. And you know, by the way, this is one of the schools, when Tim talked about the free education, this was one of the schools we established. This one right here. Over the road in the ring road, there's another one that we built in that time to take in all the children in secondary school. But you know this school? We started it, we had started to build 2 schools. Because this school was supposed to be the primary school, DEBE primary Hindu. But because we were giving all the children place in secondary, we converted it, it was to be a temporary thing. And we did all the plans to build this PARVATI Girls and the Shiva Boys College. And then we went to the office, and the PNM for the 14 years did nothing. And when we came back, we started schools again. And those schools are about 75% completion. You could see it right here on the Clark Road. Well, it will take my government again to come back in to finish those schools. I had a vision and I had a dream about education again, and I tasked Fazal Karim. I said we need a university campus in South for all the children of the Southeast and Southwest, and even some for Central could come here instead of having to go to Port of Spain and St. Augustine. And Fazal worked so hard. We commissioned that campus, so it's right over the road. State-of-the-art UWI campus. Wicked PNM will not open the campus. So your children have to go and try and get in St. Augustine. And now they've cut the gate. If they have to go up there, they have to pay to stay somewhere. Your children's life in danger. They could have stayed right here. South, even people from Point Fortin, Mayar, all could have come here in the South, stay home and travel and come to school to go to university. No. When we built the secondary schools, it's the same PNM tell us is school for Parrot and Dwen, and Laja Bless and Lagahu. That was my first rounding of building all these secondary schools to take everybody, right? They were always against us educating the children in the country. When we gave them the laptops, they come in the parliament and get on really wild. That same Mr. Rowley behaved very badly. Why? Because they could afford to buy laptop for their children. But they didn't want poor people's children getting a laptop. So they come in office and what they do? They stop it. They cut it. The whole world is on computer. I told people at another meeting, I remember when I was growing up, they had a comic strip. The name was Dick Tracy. And Dick Tracy used to have a watch. And he used to talk in this watch, boy. And it was mind-boggling. Anybody remember Dick Tracy comic book with him? Yeah. You see this man talking, and look at where we reach now. You have the whole world in this thing. You have the entire world on these things. The world in your hands. That's what I've had. That was my vision for the children of this country. That is what that laptop program was about. So they could access anything, anytime, any place, anywhere. But they don't want people to know that because people will get smart, they'll get bright, they will know things. The PNM are not interested in that. They want to stay there. They must take care of their own, take care of their 1% and so on, and the rest of us must fight. I have warned people repeatedly. I want to repeat it tonight. Anytime we divide, we lose. We have to unite. And when I say unite, we must unite geographically. We must unite in terms of religion. We are all children of the same God, one God. Whichever way we worship might be different, it is one God. We must understand that and understand each other. No one is better than the other. We must also understand whatever creed or race you come from, we are equal and we should be equal and be given equal opportunities in this country. We must not have some who get everything and everybody else get nothing. Look at the map of Trinidad and Tobago, of course. When you looked at that map in 2010 after the elections, the whole map, the whole corridor, right up to Toko, yellow. Coming down the whole country, yellow. The entire country except for Point 14 and where? The western Port of Spain, stayed PNM. They were red. And now they're red with blood throughout this country, with the crime in this country. Our land is crying out with the blood of our sons and our daughters. A Dubbers man going to, look, it's too painful. You know, this young boy in his 20s, he worked in Darsing's office for a while. He was getting an education, taking care of himself and so on. Fella get up 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, huh? To do what? To fry bara and make chana and aloo. To go and sell doubles. Bandits just come and shoot down this boy, snuff out his life. Since this government has come in office, over 1,000 people have been murdered. Over 1,000, you know. Can you imagine 1,000 dead bodies? That is somebody's son or somebody's daughter, somebody's brother, somebody's sister. And they don't have a care. The Prime Minister they're talking about, he instruct the Commissioner of Police to find the bandit. I never know a Prime Minister could instruct a Commissioner of Police. And that is a dangerous trend we have seen in this country, where the politicians are instructing police. And coming in the parliament, they do it again today, lock up you and lock up you and lock up you. They are interfering in the police service. They are fabricating documents to file in the courthouse. So they filed something against Rudy and 11 other people. 2 years, they said they're going to lock him up. They can't find nothing to lock him up because there's nothing to find. There's nothing to find. And so what they do, they file a civil case. Any 2x4 lawyer could file a civil case. And what it will do is sit there and it will be against your name, tarnishing your name. It will be there, look, I think they sued Jillian too, if I'm not mistaken. And you see what will happen there now, you have your name jumping up in courthouse, but it's not no police charge. It's not no crime, it's just a paper case. Will stay there, stay there. It's like the fake emails. Up to now, the police will not clear my name. The lies they told in the parliament. And listen to me, those people could real lie, you know. I've been telling you, and I'll repeat it tonight. That man named Rowley, Prime Minister, stood in the parliament and in 5 minutes, 5 minutes, lied 27 times. In 5 minutes, you know. I don't mean 5 minutes, 5 times. 5 minutes, that man stood up and lied 27 times. They lied. And so their strategy is to demonize the UNC, demonize the ministers who were in the partnership, and they feel they look better and they feel better. Well, Prime Minister, I want to know who getting locked up for the fake oil. That is money, that thief. That is money, taxpayers' money. Why don't you have the police investigating that? Is it because that is your best friend, bestie, Barry, the bestie. Is that why? That those files should be in the police possession before they disappear. All the documents should be in the police possession with the fraud squad inquiry, and somebody have to get locked up for that fake oil. I think others told you tonight, and it is the truth. They accuse us we corrupt and we thief. This government is the most corrupt government ever. 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 And so let us stay strong and let us stay united. Their strategy is clear, and you must keep strong heart. What they say, must have belly. I have plenty of that, by the way. You have to take the blows, and you must stand up and fight. Our UNC, we are UNC, we are proud. I am UNC, and I am proud. So don't let the bad mouth, nasty mouth PNM people, our political enemies, don't let them bring down one of us or one of you. Don't let them do it, and they will do it. That's what they're trying to do. Look, a man just went in the Senate and he gave a brilliant contribution. The former governor of the central bank, Jawala Rambaran. You know, the man talked so good. A few days after he talked good, big front page headline, they're probing Jawala. You understand? Anybody doing a good job, anybody with the UNC, they want to pull down. And you know what? Some of you just help them too. Some of you helping our enemies. And you know how you're helping them? You help them when you believe their propaganda. When you believe their nonsense. You must be strong. You voted for us. You put us there. We stand for you. We represent you. And so they say, Kamla is a real nice girl. I really like Kamla. She's a nice girl. Huh? But you see all them fellas wrong, huh? We don't like them. You know what? Kamla was the best leader. She had the best performing government, yes. So what do you think is I alone do it? I had a team. And that is why we were able to deliver so much in just 5 years. All my ministers and MPs who were there, they worked. Tim built over 100 schools. Munilal gave out 7,000, what is called keys on startups and with Jolin, the police stations, the fire stations. You know? Fazal took our young ones, what he tells us, a nice phrase, from cotton cane to flying plane. These were the guys who were ministers in Dar Singh, coming from the labor movement, worked with us in the government. We settled, what was it, 135 wage negotiations. We settled for workers. We did it. So when they come to badmouth and whatever, and they don't like one, and they don't like this one, and don't like, they run them. Tell them you don't like Heinz. Tell them you don't like Garcia. Can't open a school, the Ramai Trade School right here, can't open yet. The Presal School. The Shiva boys, the Parvati new schools just on hold. All over the schools on hold. But nobody quarrel with Garcia, no. They say, I don't like Tim. They don't like Tim. You see that? You have Stuart Young playing. He's a PC Stuart Young, Police Constable Stuart Young. You have another one there. Can't tell the bank yet where they get their money. Wouldn't make a declaration. But what? She innocent boy. And that's the same was buying wig hunting with the government card. That's the one now we have called her WPC, Camille Robinson-Regis. Woman Police Constable. Camille Robinson-Regis reading warrant in the parliament. Where she got that? That's why I say they're interfering with the police, colluding with the police. Okay, look, it's getting late. I think I've talked enough for tonight. I ask you again for your vote on Sunday. Please come out. We have a plan for Sunday. Come out early. Put your X next to the star. Follow that star and place your X on Sunday. And please help us to bring out others to come forward and vote. So I ask you to raise your hand with me. We have a plan for Sunday. I am UNC and I am proud. I am UNC and I am very proud. God bless you and I thank you very much.
What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the
bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. I vote last time and I vote the time before.
Everybody, hands up, hands up, hands up. Rock it in, rock it in. Everybody.
Cause we country in a mess.
Everybody.
The people in distress. Rowley PNM is a failure.
Hands up, hands up.
PNM is a disaster. Cause we country in a mess.
I want to see your flags.
In distress.
Come, put your hands in the air.
Is the savior. And that is why we supported Kamla.
Everybody know.
What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. Costs are living so high, food prices running sky high, and Kid Rowley flying high and dry. He only fixing stadium, but the people having problem. Rowley PNM say, help it all of them. Cause they are like the only playing ground. Oh, and that's the reason why he make more people cry. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster. Cause we country in a mess. The people in distress.
All get ready. Get ready. On Sunday, somebody say Kamla.
That's why we supporting. Who is supporting?
Everybody know.
What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla.
Hey, it's only murder each and every hour. Tell me why the people are suffer. The talent working, the PNM they joking. Up to now they ain't do a thing.
All day and night the only playing golf. Oh, and that's the reason why he make poor people cry. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster. Cause we country in a mess. The people in distress.
The UNC is we savior, and that is why we supporting Kamla.
Who we support? Everybody start taking
hey! What the people say, bring back Kamla.
What sing it, sing it, sing it.
Bring back Kamla.
What the people say,
bring back Kamla.
What the people want,
bring back Kamla.
Yeah, yeah.
My UNC people, somebody put your hands in the air.
If you believe in love.
Our political leader.
Hands up.
One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let as our leader, it will be alright. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks. There is one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind just to save his own belief? One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. One love,
everybody hear it.
One heart.
With thanks and praise to the Lord,
and I will feel alright. With Kamla as our leader, it will be alright. Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon.
One love.
So when the man comes, there will be no doom. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation.
You and people.
One love.
Yeah, we said
one heart.
Kamla.
Let's get together and feel alright.
Everybody said
one love.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
One heart.
and I will feel alright.
With Kamla as our leader,
it will be alright.